Magdalena, I'd like to hear what you think about.
Well, I think we have learned from history, and Europe is exceptional. And there are, at least within the European borders, there are polarities, we can say, but there are no wars. So that is a major accomplishment since the Second World War and since the creation of the European communities and the different institutions and structures around that. So there was lessons learned about never again, and it was instilled into these beautiful declarations that are spread universally and universally agreed upon, we can say technically by heads of states most often, but it's very different when you actually have to put it into practice and absorb it into the culture, not just into the law. And this is I'm a lawyer, so I'm emphasizing this, that the law is enough. It really has to be in the culture. It has to be in the spirit. It has to be in the psychology of people. And back to your question, Paul, about why do people think differently? Why aren't we just sort of getting it? And I think the one thing that all human beings have in common is that we're all identity driven. We have to define ourselves. We have to understand ourselves. And we understand ourselves in relation to different communities that we're in different groups. And we have created all these different categories, how we separate ourselves so that we understand the world a bit better. But the more we learn, the more we know, the more we experience with different cultures and people and identities, the more we expand our own sense of self. And that was ultimately the European project, right? Everything in the treaties, everything since the Second World War, development of the institutions and the laws and the political ideas has been about commonality, that we have a common culture, a common history, a common value system. And that was a process of common identity making. Mm-hmm. And we're still in that process. Mm-hmm. It's in some ways successful, but I think, again, because it was primarily a political project, because it was led by a certain kind of leadership and a certain system that wasn't properly absorbed psychologically, spiritually, and culturally, we're still working out with communities not quite resonating with that type of common identity as a human being more broadly with these universal values and as a European.